Welcome. Thank you for coming to this year's exhibition of classical artifacts of melancholies. I named it myself, and I am very proud. The first piece we're going to be taking a look at is one that was uncovered from a digging site near my mother's house in Wisconsin. It is quite interesting because it's ruined from an ancient civilization who seem to be much more advanced than us. So, without further ado, this here is one of this civilization's most intriguing pieces. It describes their rise and downfall and the melancholiness and the sadness that was produced and that caused it. Here we see their rise. First, they had an epiphany. They could think critically and make decisions. As you can see, this caused them much pain. After that, they discovered the art of relationships, which you'd think would lead to a very large boom in their civilization and population numbers to increase, but alas, they decided it was better if they did not. So that, of course, led to the subjugation of people who did want to get into relationships and were mentally stable. So this here is what we would call one of the prime citizens, the ones that ended up, unfortunately, being crushed under the heel of those who didn't want responsibility. Unfortunately, this was most of them, and it led to a great downfall, and they were extremely, extremely melancholy and sad. However, the ones who were doing the crushing were quite happy and quite proud of it, and this leads into the next age of their civilization. The next age of their civilization was one of much more wonder, but still tainted by their dark and disturbing past. This one is not particularly my favorite, but I feel a deep connection to it nonetheless. So here they rediscovered the art of relationships, and it went a lot better this time. They were able to talk. So here we have two, these sculptures are very nice. We have two of the citizens who are much more intriguing. These are some of the elite who were previously doing the crushing. As you can see, they kept up that bad habit. But this time, they were the ones who liked getting into more relationships, and the single ones were the happier ones, actually. As you can see, what appears to be the male here is very, very sad. It's a little bit more hopeful, which is unusual in these statues. And here is one of the more sad folk trying to pretend that they aren't sad at all by patting their head. It was a strange ritual. I don't understand. It's still under study. And then over here, we have the last part of the civilization, which was whittling. They discovered whittling. It completely changed the course of history. We think this is what actually led to much of the culture of Wisconsin nowadays. It's left over from whittler times. The final exhibit. This one is our one of their masterpieces, and it's the exhibit that the museum is most proud of. This one tells the story of their downfall, their ultimate crumbling, and what led to Wisconsin. First, the whittling got overly competitive. Arm wrestling matches. This was what ultimately decided who was the better whittler, because what could make you better at whittling than having strong forearms and an intense glare? Then, here we have one of the finer whittling projects. This one was actually, we think, the cause of the great schism that led to the inevitable decline. It was actually so desired and so coveted that the two halves of the society split and fought over it. The war was quite a bloody one. The human cavalry were an interesting but an incredibly effective one. Very few could rival their combat prowess. And that side eventually ended up winning out. And they were also the side who discovered cheese. The rest is history.